Hi, Franklin friends. Miss Kennedy here to read you another chapter of The Cricket in Times Square by George Selden. We last left off where Chester and Tucker and Harry Cat all went up to Times Square above ground to see what it looked like. And Chester decided that he would stay a little while in New York before going home. Let's see what happens. Maybe they have some adventures. What could a cat, a mouse, and a little tiny cricket get into? I wonder what could happen. You be thinking about that. Our next chapter is chapter 5. It's called Sunday Morning. The next morning, Mario came into the newsstand with his father. Usually he slept late on Sunday, but today he was up before either of his parents and kept urging Papa Bellini to hurry. They lifted off the cover and Mario dashed inside. He held up the matchbox and looked in. There was Chester, lying on the Kleenex. Chester wasn't asleep, though. He had been waiting for Mario. He chirped once. Papa smiled when he heard the chirp. He must like it here, he said. He didn't run away in the night. I knew he wouldn't, said Mario. For breakfast, Mario had brought a crust of bread, a lump of sugar, and a cold Brussels sprout. He wasn't sure what crickets liked, so he decided to try out him on everything. Chester jumped over to Mario's little finger into the palm of his hand where the food was. Back in the meadow, his usual diet was leaves and grass and every now and then a piece of dark bark. But here in New York, he was eating bread and candy and liverwurst and finding them very tasty at that. When Chester had had as much as he wanted, Mario wrapped up what was left into the piece of wax paper and put it inside the cash register. Then he slipped the cricket back inside the matchbox and took him over to one of the lunch counters. Look, he said to the counterman, this is my pet. He's a cricket. The counterman's name was Mickey. He had red curly hair. Oh, that's a fine cricket, he said, peering at Chester. May I have a glass of water, please? Asked Mario. Mickey said sure and gave him a glass. Mario held Chester up by the hind legs and lowered him carefully until his head was just above the water. Chester dunked his head in and had a big drink. Then he pulled it out and took a breath and went on for another. Why don't you let him stand on the rim? Said Mickey. He was very interested in watching Chester since he'd never seen a cricket drinking from a glass before. Mario set his pet on the edge of the glass and gently drew his hand away. Chester bent down to try to reach the water, but the glass was too slippery and he toppled in. Mario hauled him out and dried him off with a paper napkin, but Chester didn't mind the dunking. He'd fallen into the brook a couple of times back in Connecticut, and he knew it would take him a little while to get used to city life, like drinking out of a glass. How would the cricket like a soda? Asked Mickey. Oh, very much, I think, said Mario. What flavor? Mickey asked. Mario thought for a moment. Strawberry, I guess, he answered. What happened to be his own very favorite. Mickey took a tablespoon and put a drop of strawberry syrup into it. Then he added a drop of cream, a squirt of soda water, and a dip of ice cream, about as big as your fingernail. That is how you make a cricket strawberry soda. He also made one for Mario, a little larger than in Chester's, but not too big, because it was for free. When the sodas were gone, Mickey took a cup and wrote Cricket on it. This is his own cup, said Mario. You come over and get fresh water any time. Thanks, Mickey, said Mario, and he put Chester back in the matchbox. I've got to go get him a house now. Bring him back soon, Mickey called after them. I'll make him a sundae sometime, too. At the newsstand, Papa Bellini was talking to Mr. Smedley. Mr. Smedley was the best customer the Bellinis had. He was a music teacher who came to buy musical Americas at 10:30 in the morning on the last Sunday of every month on his way home from church. No matter what the weather was, he always carried a long, neatly rolled up umbrella. As usual, Papa, and Mr. Smedley had been talking about opera. More than anything else, the Bellini family liked Italian opera. Every Saturday during the winter, when the opera was broadcast, they would sit clustered around the radio in the newsstand, straining to hear the music above the din and noise of the subway station. "Good morning, Mr. Smedley," said Mario. "Guess what I have?" Mr. Smedley couldn't guess. "A cricket," said Mario, as he held Chester up for the music teacher to see. "Oh, how delightful," said Mr. Smedley. What an enchanting little creature. Do you want to hold him?" asked Mario. Mr. Smedley shrank back. Oh, I don't think so," he said. "I was stung by a bee once when I was 8 years old, and since then I've been a little timid around insects." "Oh, he won't sting you," said Mario, and he tipped the matchbox up, and Chester fell out into Mr. Smedley's hand. It made the music teacher shiver to feel him. "I heard him chirp last night," said Mario. Um, "Do you think he'll chirp for me?" asked Mr. Smedley. "Well, maybe," said Mario. He put Chester on the counter and said, "Chirp, please." Then, so Chester couldn't misunderstand, he made a little chirping sound himself. It didn't sound much like the cricket, but Chester got the idea. He uncrossed his wings and made a little chirp. Papa and Mr. Smedley exclaimed with delight. "That was a perfect middle C," said Mr. Smedley. He raised his hand like a little conductor, and when he lowered it, Chester chirped on the downbeat. "Do you want to give him music lessons, Mr. Smedley?" said Mario. "What could I teach him?" said Mr. Smedley. "He's already been taught by the greatest teacher of all, Mario, Nature herself. She gave him his wings to rub together and the instinct to make such lovely sounds. I could add nothing to the genius of this little black Orpheus." "Who is Orpheus, Mr. Smedley?" asked Mario. "Orpheus was the greatest musician who ever lived," said the music teacher. "Long, long ago he played on a harp, and he played so beautifully that not only human beings, but animals, and even the rocks and trees and waterfalls stopped their work to listen to him. The lion left off chasing the deer, the rivers paused in their courses, and the wind held its breath. The whole world was silent." Mario didn't know what to say. He liked the picture of everything keeping quiet to listen. "That must have been awfully good playing," he said finally. Mr. Smedley smiled. "It was. Perhaps some day your cricket will play as well. I profess great things for a creature of such ability, Mario." "You hear?" Papa Bellini said. "He could be famous, maybe." Mario heard all right, and he remembered what Mr. Smedley had said later in the summer, but right now he had other things on his mind. "Papa, can I go down to Chinatown and get my cricket a house?" he asked. "A house? What kind of house?" said his father. "Jimmy Lebowski said that the Chinese like crickets very much, and they build special cages for them," Mario explained. "Well, it's Sunday," said Papa. There won't be any stores open." "Well, there might be one or two," said Mario. "It's Chinatown, and besides, I could see where I could go later on." "All right, Mario," Papa Bellini began, but Mario wasn't waiting for any buts. He scooped up Chester into the matchbox, shouted goodbye to Mr. Smedley over his shoulder, and headed for the stairway leading to the downtown subway train. Papa and Mr. Smedley watched him go. Then Papa turned to the music teacher with a happy, hopeless expression on his face. He shrugged his shoulders, and the two of them began to talk about opera again. That's the end of this chapter. There are a couple pictures. Oh, I guess just one picture this time. It's a picture of Mario at the lunch counter. Sorry, friends. At the lunch counter, he's getting some water for his cricket. Here's Mickey. So in this story, Mario is headed down to Chinatown, which is a part of New York City. and he's going to be going on a train to get there. Now, nowadays, we don't go any place without our moms or dads or with another adult, but back then things were a little bit different. And the idea that everything would be closed back when Miss Kennedy was a little girl and when this story was written, um, things on Sunday were always closed or very few things were open. So he's heading down there to find a place, but he might come back without anything at all. But a cricket house, what would a cricket house even look like? Think about that. And until we get back together again to read another chapter of A Cricket in Times Square, bye for now.